Hi, my name is Belgica and I am an actress. And today we're going to talk to Timothy.huls, who is an acting coach. We're going to see what he does in his coaching and get a little glimpse of his coaching style. And I'm also going to tell him about my acting goals, what I want help on. And he's going to tell me what he would do in order to help me if he was my acting coach. Of course, there's going to be links in the description on how to get in touch with him, more information of stuff that he has been in, and more projects that you can participate in.
So my name is Timothy Hulse. I get so used to saying it in the slate. Timothy Hulse. And I've just been auditioning so much. I'm a professional actor and filmmaker. And when I say that I'm a filmmaker, I really mean that I love making films in any way possible. Like, the other week I was a boom guy. Usually I prefer the acting role, but I also have been getting into directing more as well, helping clients with their projects, workshopping their writing, helping them get it on tape for their reels. I'm just kind of a renaissance man when it comes to filmmaking and acting.
Tell us about your coaching service. I am completely interested
Oh,
in
yeah.
figuring out, what you do. Maybe one day I can call you up and like, I have this audition, because there's definitely a few different auditions that I get all of the time. And I'm like, why haven't I booked this? I know I can nail this. Tell me about your services.
I love to coach. I love to coach one-on-one. Lately, I have been coaching two actors at a time. So I have two different offerings. One is one-on-one coaching. The other is two-person scene study. When I'm one-on-one coaching and when it's two-person scene study, I love scene work. I love to break down a scene. Any scene we can spend an hour and a half on. They call them 5 and under. If you have a 5 and under or one liner, we're going to spend an hour and a half on that, because it's not only just about getting into the character, it's about playing the circumstances as well. And I am a big proponent of crafting the audition so that it looks like what you're eventually going to do. And so I specialize in audition technique, commercials. I've booked so many commercials over the past 5-6 years, and that's my specialty. I also specialize in business coaching as well, business strategy. Like aligning all of your materials so that it looks like one actor with a solid product, rather than like your website's photos don't look like your actor's access photos. And that for, I think, a lot of us, there could be like a disconnect there, guiding people past their blocks, because we all have resistance towards certain things when it comes to creating the potential that I see. I see potential in everyone who says they want to be an actor. Overall, the desire to act is a very special gift, just that itself. And so I feed it and I nourish it. I try to do a lot of listening. I know I'm not doing a lot of listening right now, but that's your job.
Yes.
I usually just like try to ask questions and let the actor find the answer to whatever they're
Yes.
but it's so much about mindset as well as performance and technique. And that's one thing I try to help people do too, is see what they can't see and blind spots.
Some of my favorite directors are exactly like this. You take a very directorial approach to teaching, it sounds like, because
Oh,
I've
yeah.
had directors who are like, okay, show me what you have first, and then I will guide you towards what we can create together, versus come here, this is how you're going to do it, this is how you act. So it's very collaborative.
I try to get actors out of their heads. By out of their heads, I'm going to take a page from Richard Side, who's a great teacher in the Bay in LA. He says it's not necessarily that actors are in their heads; they're self-conscious.
Hmm.
So the actor who is not self-conscious is free and present. As much as I incorporate Meisner technique, I also have communication and leadership training, specifically from a course called Landmark. And there are some exercises in Landmark that are really helpful in being with people. Because there's one thing is to perform, take on the character, and say the character's lines. But it's another for Belgica and I to just like be here together.
Yeah.
And see what space exists in the silence, as well. And so that's something I'm very interested in. That kind of that chemistry that makes people squirmy.
And I love that, because that's when you see people like really thinking, you see it in their face
That's
versus
right.
what they're saying.
Yes, and yeah, and so that's another technique or style of performance that I try to incorporate as much as possible is clowning, because clowning is an actor in trouble.
Mm-hmm.
Clowning is getting so good at failure, comfortable with failure, perfecting your failure. And that's what I love about clowning and clowning with Ron Campbell. I have to give Ron Campbell a shout out because he helped me kind of ride my edge of weirdness.
Uh-huh.
'Cause I could get weird. I get really weird. And I love he is one of those theater professionals in the Bay Area that's just really that I really loved training with when I was up there, because he is building a community of people that own being stupid and fearless. Because usually when actors have something that's stupid, they're like, oh, I would do that, but that's stupid. I'm like, no,
Yeah.
I want that. I want that. Whatever that is, that makes you you. I'll just say what I offer in the coaching right now.
Mm-hmm.
3 things. Uh, Giving up looking good, because that's what gets us self-conscious and we want to be like an impression. We're doing like an impression of an actor we saw.
Right.
And so that's what comes out all weird. So giving up looking good, giving up being funny. Some people try to like, oh, they read a comedy script and then they try to put some, I call it put some stank on it. You get to take that stank off and then give up. I have one more. I think it's getting it right or something,
Mm-hmm.
which is that's it's art. There's no right answer. There's no correct. Now there are, when it comes to correctness, I would say that I am a very big fan of teaching actors how to follow the roadmap that is a script. Because I can't tell you how many times I've worked with actors, I've been in readings with actors who are glossing over the parentheticals, they're glossing over the stage directions, they're not reading where the character is at, that the ellipses give them, or the dashes give them, or the beats give them. So it's really like, listen, a good writer is giving you who this character is and how they need to be. And if you're not following that and doing your own thing, then you're in your own little world of it. So it really takes a giving over to the writer. And a lot of actors don't know how to do that. So I teach a method of getting into the writer's mind and seeing what they intended.
When you're coaching a couple of people to do a scene, do you guys start off by doing a bunch of scene analysis, or do you have them do that on their own separately?
I love to do scene analysis with people. I have some actors that do so much work on their own, and then they come in with very specific ideas, and then
Mhm.
I'm standing there, sitting there, being there, trying to work them out of what their preconceived ideas.
Yeah, what they spent
So
like 5 hours rehearsing.
exactly. And then I hear this like inflection that I'm like, how am I going to get you out of that inflection that you already decided this is how it needs to sound? I
Yeah.
love to do scene analysis because it's that term, you can't see the trees you can't see the forest for the trees. If you're in it, I'll have an acting friend look at a script and see things that I don't initially see,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm already in my head about it needs to sound like this. Like that's a very natural thing to do as an actor. We need others to help us see what we can't see. Again, it goes back to blind spots, because there could be a word, like you could not see sassy. You could just like, and sassy is a huge
Mm-hmm.
word for that character, but you could just gloss over it and then do your audition without that, and then they're not going to hire you because you missed that one little word. Playing those, and you know what I find? A lot of actors, it's very vulnerable for them to do that because they want to do their own thing.
Mm-hmm.
They want to do like an impression, or it's like something in their head, and your own way is who you are. And I think that it's so important to bring your own personality and your own mind to the role.
Do you have any like free consultations for like people if they're interested and want to get in touch, anything like that?
Oh, absolutely. I would love to meet with people. If people are interested. I mean, I would love to give them half an hour of just like, you know, some guidance into what kind of training they need, what kind of coaching they need. Absolutely. Yeah.
And you're open to all levels, right? If somebody is a very beginner, like they've never acted in their life, but they really want to do some training and want to start getting into it, are you open to very beginners and even
I
advanced?
am. I'm open to beginners who are willing to have a sense of integrity about their training.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not open to beginners who are going to cancel a lot or not show up, because that's what I find. The beginners kind of don't take it so seriously, because that's what I expect from my advanced students. My advanced students show up on time. memorized.
I just had a little bit of an idea that maybe we can do a mini consultation right now, really quick. Like if I tell you my goals, my short-term goals as far as improving my acting, things I want to work at on. Yeah?
That
Okay.
sounds like a great idea. I
Okay.
love that. I love that. Yeah.
So I feel super rusty. I just want to act in general.
Mhm.
I don't have a reel for 2020. You know, I made a little DIY reel on my channel just because I really wanted to act. So I went ahead and made it. And I would like to make another reel at home using pieces of monologues that I have and record it at home. Auditions, I get put on hold. I get so many casting calls from my agency in San Francisco, MDT, for voiceovers, for commercial work, for industrials, specifically the commercial that's very sarcastic, like, you know, the purple commercial, the mattress purple, how they're always very sarcastic, or the what is it called, the deodorant,
Oh,
very
Old Spice.
Old
Yeah.
Spice. It's this very
Right.
specific, sarcastic, hilarious. And I'm always like, oh, this sounds like so much fun. I know I can nail this, but I've never been cast for that role, that type of role, because it comes around a lot. Just to improve my auditions to see what's going on that's wrong, because they never say, you know, you're on hold and now you're released, because maybe some feedback on my auditions. And I would love also for you to look at all of my acting stuff that I have online. Like, of course, I have my YouTube channel. I've been working on an IMDb recently. I've had so many renditions of a website. So in general, like my actor presence online. What would you suggest for me?
That's great. Oh my gosh. So I would break it down into goals, passions, and struggles. Your GPS. We're gonna find it. We're gonna locate you. Because I know as artists, we kind of get lost in the ambition of I'm doing this and I'm also doing this and I'm also passionate about this. But if you really just whittle it down, goals, passions, struggles. Because passions, sometimes your passions aren't necessarily going to be related to your goals. Like cooking I love to cook, for example. It's not really, coincide with my acting goals, maybe eventually. And then struggles is just sounds like you're struggling with booking.
Hmm.
I don't want you to struggle with that anymore. I want you to book so bad. We would talk a lot about this acting style that is self-tape, because self-tape is a very specific acting style. It is not the same as acting on set. Very different. It's almost like the space is not real. Let's say if you're at a cemetery, you're looking down. I'm cutting my eyeline. My eyeline is cutting my face off. So it's like we would just go through we would go through your self tape and just self tape after self tape after self tape. And what we would do is you would send me the file. I would pause and say, look at this, look at that. See, is that a habit or is that a choice? That's my personal brand of acting coaching. Is that a habit or is that a choice? It's okay if it's a choice, but lean into it being a choice. And
Yeah.
then habit, be aware of it so that you can either turn it into a choice or not do it because it's not helping you book the job.
And it's
Like
distracting. And then
exactly.
you're focusing on your acting.
Like actors who do that a lot.
Hmm.
Well, it's very simple. Some people don't even know that they're doing it, but they click their tongue and they have no idea.
Yeah.
Or actors that are blinking a lot and they have no idea that they're doing it, but
You're making me
they're
want to blink now.
and then of course we get into the style of comedy, how to reach that style of comedy that is so prevalent right now. It's a very, very trendy comedy, like deadpan. I
Or
think people want to,
commercials. Yeah.
so probably just working on your deadpan. And that is a whole session right there. I want to address something you brought up, which is actors need real footage. Actors need real footage. They need real footage real
Updated
bad.
real footage, right? Because I have stuff from 2017, 18, 19, 20.
No, you got to update it. You look better, you feel better than you did back then. What I have done in the past year or so is I have helped students create their reel on their own from Zoom. Like I swear to God, we could do that. We'll either we would write something together or look at a scene that's already been written, and I would direct it while you have the camera set up. And then we'd look at it, and we'd look at it, we'd look at the takes, and then we'd pick the best take. I could edit that for you for an additional cost, and then there you go. You have a real.
Yeah.
Exactly. You have some footage for your reel. And I like that you were saying, even though I like that you were saying snippets of monologues, I would argue that a lot of casting directors do want to see you act with somebody else. They also, just as much as they want to see you perform and communicate to somebody else, they want to see you listening.
Mm-hmm.
They want to see you listening, not the whole time, just or listening and reacting. I'm going to get specific about this. One student in particular, what I did, I recorded on a lavalier when I was reading the scene with her over
Mm-hmm.
Zoom, and she ended up taking my sound from the lavalier and putting it over the footage so it sounds like I'm there. And I'm going to credit Mark Duplass, is one of my favorite filmmakers, actors, writers, and he's one of those guys who's like, you have all the resources to make a great product. You just have to be innovative with
Yeah.
putting the things together. And so that's how I have a lot of experience with technology and editing and sound. And so it's like things that you might not be thinking of to make your reel like high quality. I'd point that out and say you could also do that, and you'd be like, I don't even think about that. I know the filmmaking process so well. I would help you build something that looks great instead of just I set this up and shot it in my home. But if it's a scene that could be set at in an apartment or in a kitchen or even like in a therapist's office, and you use your couch or outside, if you are able to do that where the light would be good and the sound wouldn't be interrupted, then gosh, why not? You mentioned website as well,
Oh
right?
yeah,
Or
my general presence uh,
yeah,
on online. I am an actress, but I also have this YouTube channel. So that's when you were saying, like, sometimes your passions aren't really the same as your career goals. But for me, I started a YouTube channel and I was like, "Ugh, well, I need another creative outlet. So I'm going to make this YouTube channel and then I'll have time on camera. I'll have to be creative, come up with video ideas." And then I was like, you know what? I can help other actors by making a channel about acting, and I can research about acting and then connect them.
that would be such an awesome goal, is to have it's like start filming stuff, booking stuff, so that I mean you've already in the past, I'm sure you've showed like the stuff that you've booked. Have you done videos about like with your commercials and stuff
Yeah, so I have my reels on my channel from
on your
previous
channel?
years, and then once in a while I will talk about something that I was in.
And it would just be great if it would just kept getting more, like the production quality increased as well. That's
Mhm.
my hope and my goal for you, and I think you should make it a goal for yourself, is just to hold yourself to a higher standard of production quality.
How can people get in contact with you? What do you have coming up?
Email me at timothy.huls at gmail.com. An improv workshop Thursdays, 6 p.m. Pacific time. I'm also having a virtual dance party on Wednesday mornings at 9 a.m. Pacific time. DJ Sweet Tea on the tracks. Or they can go to my website, timothy.huls.com. I am also starting a new collective. It's a community space for artists called All New People. And we're going to start offering these scene study courses for 2 actors. It's a 3-session course. First, we pick a scene. Second session, we rehearse it. Third session, we get it on tape. So you have a scene that's for your portfolio, for your reel, if you don't have that type of scene already. Also, I'll be leading a virtual acting auditioning course with Jessica on the 28th, and I can send you more info on that as
Yes,
well.
and of course I'll put all links to everything Timothy holds in the description so they can keep in touch and, get updates on all of the stuff that you do. And hopefully in the future we can make another video about maybe you coaching me or something. And
I would
when we were talking about that, I was like, ooh, that sounds like a fun future video idea.
definitely like that. Yes, absolutely.
Anything else that you want to include, sprinkle?
I just want to say, no matter what, just keep showing up. And if for any reason you can't show up, then communicate that you can't show up. Because if you want to be an actor, if you want to be taken seriously as a working professional, then communication will help towards that.
Thank you so much for watching. At the end of every video, I feature another channel. I'm going to be featuring the work because Timothy has co-hosted some interviews with some artists on that channel, so you guys can go check him out there. If you would like to be featured on my next video, make sure you're subscribed, like this video, and leave me a comment.